Welcome to Sex Ed with DB. I'm your host, DB. Let's get into it. In 2026, we celebrate body positivity, normalize pleasure, affirm identities, and teach everything and anything about sex ed. But our bodies are also being debated in courtrooms and political conversations more than ever in our modern era. That's why I want to tell you about a podcast I think you'll love, one that feels especially important right now. It's called Repros Fight Back. Right now, reproductive health is facing seismic shifts and can feel confusing, overwhelming, and exhausting. And Repros Fight Back gives clear and easy to understand breakdowns with experts of what's happening to sexual and reproductive health and what it means for real people. It's a space to know whether people can access birth control, what is happening for abortion in your state, whether folks can receive gender-affirming treatment, or safely give birth. Access to this information is vital now more than ever. Check out Repros Fight Back wherever you get your podcasts, because here, comprehensive sex education includes understanding your rights. Hello, and welcome back to Sex Ed with DB. I'm DB, your favorite sex educator and pleasure expert. And in this best of episode, we are talking about trans joy, trans sex, and trans pleasure. We'll go into two conversations about trans experiences. First, Jamie Joy on how trans sex is transcendent sex, and then part of our episode with activists Elle Duran and Ezra Michelle. As always, full episodes are linked in the show notes. Right now in the US, trans people are under heightened persecution after years of already being denied basic rights. It is a hard time for trans people. It is a scary time for trans people. If you are trans, non-binary, or anywhere under the trans umbrella, we see you and you are not alone in this fight. You should not have to be the only people fighting for your rights and safety and happiness. You're an important part of culture, history, futures, and our world. You, yes, you, every trans person listening to this, are so important. Every day you do something kind for yourself and for your community is a direct act of rebellion against the forces that are afraid of your power and your existence. If you are a cis listener, especially in the US, hopefully this episode will help you see the vastness and beauty of the trans experience. There is so much going on in the world right now that demands our attention, but I hope that this can be a reminder of standing beside our trans siblings. They need our help. They cannot fight this fight alone, and they shouldn't have to. Let's dive into this episode all about trans sex. You talk about building a language treasure chest, right?
Let's start there.
As part of your teaching, like, what does this mean? Why is it crucial for good trans sex in general?
So I think in order to answer that question, I have to share a personal anecdote.
Please.
Great. Okay. Because, I love to get a little personal when I talk about sex ed. I think about the first time that a lover was going down on me and they said, "Oh my God, your cock is so hard right now." And I had never had anyone call my body parts a cock before. Mm-hmm. And all of this neurological rewiring happened in that moment where I was like, yeah, why can't my lover call this a cock? Who made the rules? Right. And so this was such a turning point in my life. And this was so many years ago, and it made me so empowered to throw out any language that I had been forced to use or language that had been prescribed onto me. And when folks have to unlearn the words that have been put onto them, you kind of get thrusted into the unknown. And that can be very scary for people, to be in the unknown. I find this space that we get thrusted into, this unknown, to be actually very potent because then we can ask ourselves these questions, which is, how do I really see myself? What actually turns me on? And if words had no meaning, what words do I truly want to be called during sex? Mm-hmm. And those questions are questions that I ask folks to work through as they're beginning to take some more agency and ownership over their pleasure, right? So we start there, and for a lot of people, they're like still struggling with finding the right language to fill their language treasure chest. So I give people prompts, and I can share a prompt with you if you want to try it.
Please. Yes.
And you can even practice it yourself right now if you want. So here's the prompt. I invite folks in my workshop to close their eyes and to get attuned with their body. And they can do this during the workshop, or they can take this home for later for homework. And I am
seriously, close your eyes. I'm also closing my eyes.
No, I see you. So we're closing our eyes, and I invite folks to just place their hands on different parts of their body, like their chest, their ass, their genitals, and to speak out loud words for those body parts. And like what I might do is I might hold my chest and I might say boobs. And then I just let that word sit in my body for a little bit, and I feel what comes up. And right now what I feel is like, I feel tension in my body, and I feel like it's like something is not fitting right. And then I say chest, and my body relaxes. And I feel more harmonious within myself, and maybe even a little turned on. And then I'll do that on my genitals, right? I'll put my hands down in my genitals. And you can do this while you're masturbating. You can do this in the shower. You can do this in all types of scenarios when you feel most attuned to your body. So I'll put my hands on my genitals and I'll say vagina. And I'll just see, how does that sit in my body? And then I'll say a word like hole. And everything will just click. And I'll be like, ah. I'll just feel this moment. Hole.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the word.
Unlock.
Yes. It's an unlocking moment. And it's so powerful. And every time I find a word that I have either a positive or a neutral response to, I put those in my treasure chest. Because neutral, I say to folks, isn't necessarily bad. You know, especially for trans folks, like if we can find a word that we just feel neutral about and it doesn't necessarily make us feel bad or turned off or dysphoric, that's still useful. We can still use that word. Not every word is going to make us feel like fireworks inside us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's so helpful. And it seems like it would be such a simple exercise, but it has a lot of power because we don't really usually describe our bodies out loud, first of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, we don't quite realize like the power that these certain words have. And to your point, words are made up. Like, we are fully capable of leaving what doesn't work and taking the rest. Exactly. And so I like this idea of testing how your body, it's almost like a somatic experience of like, how is your body reacting? Are you tight? Are you relaxed? Are you kind of feeling like hopeful? Are you feeling disappointed? Like what descriptor words come up? And that's a great guide for you to figure out what words belong in that treasure chest.
Yes. And really what it's doing is it's helping us choose pleasure over prescription, which is one of my transsex principles, is like, we don't have to choose what has been prescribed. We can choose pleasure. And it comes back to that first question around what actually turns you on and what words do you really want to hear, because you get to decide. And that can be so life-changing for me to say to people like, oh, you get to decide what you call your body parts. No one else has that power. And so then once you kind of start filling your treasure chest, then we kind of talk about how to then communicate that to people you're about to hook up with or play with or your partner. And that's where things get extra fun once you bring more people in.
Yes, let's actually move on to that right now. You read my mind.
Great.
What does it look like to affirm your partner during sex, especially when you're centering trans experiences, whether you're trans or your partner's trans? Like, what does that look and feel like?
Yes, I love this question. I get this question all the time. So what I want to bring, this actually moves us into the next trans sex principle, which is having an open and curious mind. And what I also just call a beginner's mind, which means you're approaching someone's body like it's a blank slate, a brand new canvas. And you're not bringing in all this baggage and all these expectations of like, oh, this body part is shaped like a vulva or like a penis, so I should call it this or touch it like this or lick it like this. That is bringing in like preconceptions. So I practice this principle of having a beginner's mind where I approach a new person's body and I know nothing about it. And that is exciting to me because I get to learn all these new things about it. So as I'm maybe starting to get intimate with someone or maybe we're negotiating, I love to ask, what words do you like to use for your body? Or what words do you want me to use for your body? What do you like to be called? Because not just words for the body, but it's like, do you want to be called naughty boy, mommy, sir, right? Slut, good slut, whatever.
Bad slut.
I knew that was coming. And so when we approach from the beginner's mind, then we can really be prepared to like not follow old scripts. I really like to center curiosity. And one of the other ways of doing that is to not even like label someone's body parts at all, like to be connecting with them and say, I want to feel your hands all over me. Can I put my mouth on you? Do you want me inside you? And I love these phrases because a lot of people are like, well, maybe I don't know what I want to label my genitals or my body parts yet. And I'm like, great, no labels. We don't need labels, right? I'll say to someone, can I put my mouth on you? And they know what I'm communicating, right? And it's sometimes just really hot to like not have to name the body part. And in other words, in other worlds, sometimes naming the body part is actually really affirming, to be like, I want your cock in my mouth. And that can like really turn someone on. And that's where language can be so powerful. And it really activates our brain into the experience, So I'd say like helping your partner feel affirmed during sex, it really does start with the language.
We're going to switch gears to comedy Let's quick because as I mentioned to you offline before this interview, I discovered both of you from your hilarious viral video, A Day in the Life of a Trans Couple. And we're going to play that right now so that the listener, let me tell you, I highly recommend you seeing it because the visuals are chef's kiss. They're very, very good and they very much add to the video. But for now, I will give you the audio of Elle and Ezra's A Day in the Life of a Trans Couple. We'll play that right now.
A day in the life of a trans couple. First, we wake up and immediately stab each other with our daily dose of hormones paid for by the conservative taxpayers of America.
We get out of bed, brush our teeth, wash our face, then we stand in the mirror and scream at our bodies because we hate them!
Wrong! 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 After we get dressed in the clothing of the opposite sex, we make some coffee and breakfast.
On the menu today is egg, homemade biscuit, and leftover meat from Ezra's top surgery.
Protein. Time for some exercise.
It is my all-time dream to dominate in women's sports, so I'll spend 2 hours bench pressing Ezra while he researches for local public restrooms that we haven't terrorized yet.
Then, to get out of the house, we'll go hunt for the neighborhood children so we can force them into drag and teach them the ins and outs of transgenderism.
Once we've successfully turned all the kids trans, we'll head back home to start winding down.
We will spend at least 3 hours engaging in biological heterosexual intercourse just to pull an Uno reverse card on God and really rub it in her face. Is this what you want from us?
Before bed, we always make sure to pray to Satan, thanking him for blessing us with mental illness and doing his work through us. Thanks for watching.
Every time it just gets better and better and better. Okay, so I've seen this video like maybe 6 times. Wow. And I've sent it to everyone I know because I feel like it's very unique in that it does a really, really good job of using comedy to show like the absurdity of these really common myths and misrepresentations of trans people that we're seeing so much these days in very hateful ways in the media. Mm-hmm. And I would love to just talk about this because it's completely viral, millions and millions of views at this point. And I would just love to know like the process of making it. Like, can you talk about comedy and using that as like a way to fight hatred and like share love and light and silliness in this way?
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of humor that happens in our household. Like all day, we're just kind of like using those like, I don't know. We're very, our sense of humor is very like vulgar and extreme. And it's often like reclaiming the like narratives about us and like fully claiming them as if they're true because we think it's hilarious because literally all we do is like skip around all day and make biscuits like and
harmless.
Yeah, and it's like it's just like honestly what had happened a couple weeks prior is that we got like bullied on the internet by this guy who has like this really huge podcast, and he just like made fun of our relationship, and it really took me out. Like I was really like just really affected by it. One, because he sent all of his like pawns to like, you know, like over to our page. And so like I was getting like thousands of hate comments and death threats, and it was just like overwhelming. And so like I didn't land on comedy immediately, you know, like I had to go through a lot of grief and pain and just like
the stages.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like it really threw me off. And as I was coming out of it, like I knew and we knew that we wanted to like respond to it somehow. And like, you know, the first inclination is like attack that person, you know, like attack them back, but knowing that like that isn't good for that isn't a good thing to do because it's
not a good thing to do.
It's not a good thing to do. It doesn't feel good, even though it might scratch an itch. But then one day I think I came back from like an appointment or something, and I was like, and we were just like, how did it?
I have no idea.
I don't even. It feels like a blur.
It feels like a blur. We just started writing this script. We knew we wanted to make something together.
Yeah.
We initially were going to write a song together, and then that ended in flames.
Yeah. We're like, let's write a song to the hater, a love letter to the haters.
Yeah, it was like,
and then we were
really,
like, why are we focusing on that?
It was so hard.
Yeah.
But I feel like with what you were saying about like the initial responses to like clap back somehow. For me, I had this epiphany while I was processing my reaction to that podcaster guy. I was thinking about like why it's so infuriating to even have to think about a clap back, because it insinuates that this is an argument, and it is not. It is somebody who is insane saying false things about real people they do not know, and then saying that they're true. It's like if this were any other situation, it would be so obvious. Like if this person was saying like this about any other oppressed minority, about a fucking, like, if there was a tree and then he was like, there's no tree, people would be like, you're dumb. Like, or like, what's wrong with, or can you see, first of all, like, that's a valid question. Can you see?
Let's start from the basics.
But then if he can see, then he's just nuts, you know, but because he's talking about trans people, he's like, well, let's hear him out. And it's like, why would I want to hear him out? That's dumb. It's infuriating.
Like there's no kind of like rationalizing this. Like, we're not going to ever be on the same page here because you are literally saying false things that are actively harmful and hurtful.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry that you had to go through that also.
It sucked. But like, the thing is, like, transness and gender nonconformity has been like the butt of the joke in the media for like decades. So it's so easy for folks in the media and folks responding to content like spewing lies about transness or laughing at trans people to like minimize it, to like see it as something that's like just sick or like laughable or
pathetic.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's, you know, I think what we both discovered was like the power of making yourself the butt of the joke and claiming it and say, and like we joke all day, like about being like
dirty transsexual.
Like just be like we everything they say about us we do too, just just to, because it's funny to us. It actually is.
It is funny. There are things about it that are hilarious. Yeah. It's just that we don't have the animosity or it's all minus the death threats.
Right.
Really. It's just it's not funny.
And it's just like love and care and like kindness and control of the narrative of like when you want to do that and how you want to do that.
Exactly.
And who you do it with. Yeah. And like that's the whole difference, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so with this video, it was very much like, let us show them what it would actually look like if these things were true.
Yeah.
Like if you are going to villainize us without actually knowing a trans person or connecting to a trans person or hearing them out or seeing the humanity in them, like watch two human trans people going through the motions of what you say is true and just like look how absurd you look. Like
right.
And
it's
I
like
think
their own words throwing them back in their face.
Absolutely. Exactly. And it's like I think it felt really good to get such a great response to it because we were laughing while filming it all day. It was so fun.
It's fucking
like,
funny. It's really funny.
The footage that we have of us like sprinting through the streets through our neighborhood.
We should do some bloopers.
We should. It was really healing being able to like transmute that like tension and that energy, that negative energy into like laughter. And I think that is powerful. And I don't think it's the only way, but I think it is perhaps a underutilized way in the social media space.
I agree.
Welcome to the Afterglow, where we wind things down, reflect on big takeaways, and leave you with one juicy thing to try, think about, or explore before next week. There is so much more to trans life than having to be activists or having to suffer. Trans joy, community, and sex are transformative, and trans lives can and usually are filled with the same kind of happiness everyone else finds. Big, true loves. Groups of friends who always have your back. Music, books, film, science, health, industry. Trans people are everywhere flourishing, and they always have been. I am so grateful to have had such amazing trans guests on the show so far. Do you have any questions about trans sex ed that you'd like us to answer? Are there any trans creators, thinkers, or sex educators that you'd love to hear from? Are you a trans sex educator who would like to talk about something on the show? Please email me at sexedwithdb@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Here is your pleasure practice of the week. It might sound a little vague, but pay attention. Listen to more trans people. In the show notes, we've included some trans organizations that you can donate to, as well as some trans creators that we love following. They're not all focused on trans rights in the news. A few of them are here to just be funny or informative about something unrelated to trans rights, or just serve some incredible looks and be hot. Give them a follow, surround yourself with more trans folks, including people who are just living their day-to-day and just happen to be trans. Whether you're cis, trans, anywhere in between, following more trans voices and listening helps creators get noticed and helps you remember how diverse and amazing the trans community is. Thank you so much for listening. Love y'all. Talk to you next week.